I am Danny.
And I'm Shaun.
Yeah, again, you don't have to put it too close because when it was right here, it was already blown out.
And I'm Shaun.
Like I said, it's an impromptu episode, so it's going to be a little awkward, but we'll make it do with what we have. And obviously, a little into the episode, I'll probably go make a run and a check to see if that picnic table's open, because as soon as it opens, if possible, we want to try to snipe it before somebody else gets to it. But it's like a 75-degree gorgeous bluebird sky day out.
Exactly.
For the first time after a atmospheric river, so as a result, everyone, their grandmother's out because it's the first proper day of spring.
Yes.
To have sprung. So odds are is that the moment it opens, it's just going to immediately be occupied again because it's the only one in the park.
Yeah.
And that's what this whole episode's going to be about today, is ranting about the one picnic table in a big park. Yeah. So we should both be in shot. Me lesser than him probably, but I don't know because the angle's also slightly out towards the lake, so we could both equally not be in the shot because I am in the back. He's kind of off to the left where the thing is, and yeah, I realize that's a good point. But then again, I also have the microphone for this actually.
Exactly.
So realistically, we don't even have to share this. You could just keep it on your person. I think you could clip it to yourself, but clip it like a little lower. I think would probably be slightly better. Actually, you know what? What if you clipped it to the tip of your bill? Oh yeah, it's like that though. Yeah, no, it doesn't work. Clip it to your nose, no. Get a new piercing.
No.
So, in the vein of being off the cuff and also being in a impromptu episode today, what's funny is that we also, in that vein, have not came up with a single topic for this week's episode.
Exactly.
So, as a result, you're really getting a full off-the-cuff experience with this podcast today. It could not be living up to its name more.
Yes.
So, there you go. I just realized it's also a low angle because the actual lens it records off is this one, and it's down on the bottom because I wanted it to be out instead of in, because then it definitely isn't going to get both of us. It is a mess.
It is a mess, yes.
But it's our mess. And that includes you. Because I've always found it kind of weirdly interesting and fascinating because I don't quite understand the psychology behind it in the sense of like it just isn't my brain or like how I function to think like, okay, I want to look presentable or I want to have a specific way of dressing or like a specific way, presenting yourself, right?
Well, no kidding.
You actually are kind of the opposite. You actually, especially right now, like that's a huge thing that you're going through. So like, I thought we could start off with like just the basics of like where you came. That goose was in the middle of a really nice deep nap, and that dog barked, and he's like, "Oh fuck!" And now he's having a snack instead. That was actually funny to watch. He literally was asleep in a deep fucking nap, and then the dog barks. He's like, "What the hell?
What the fuck?
What the fuck was that?"
Yeah, really. What was that?
And then just starts eating grass. Normal sequence. So start off on like your mentality of how you came to the point where you decided that this was important to you, and like why you think that like I don't know, it feels like the right thing to do or whatever, and then we can build from there.
Okay, so basically I'll be straight with you, man. The fact is that it always was a part of my character. I actually always wanted to dress and look presentable. The problem was I never had the opportunity to. Mm-hmm. You see, the fact is, I like black, I like rings, I like metal shirts, and I also like turtlenecks in that regard.
And you also like metal in general.
Yeah, I also like metal in general.
Yeah.
The fact is that, what was it called? I absolutely, my father was the one supplying me with money when I was jobless and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
But eventually,
this is a way for you to take ownership.
This is a way for me to.
Now that you do have a job,
yes. Now that I do have a job,
I can totally understand the kind of the mentality and the process behind that. Of like wanting to do whatever it is that means the most to you internally to almost in a way kind of celebrate you having a stable job.
Well, actually,
in this case, finally actually do that for yourself,
Well, in this case, it's sort of like what was it called? I see it as a way for me to take my independence back.
Right. Well, that's what I kind of mean when I say
exactly.
celebration or whatever. You're kind of celebrating your stable job and yourself.
Yeah.
Because for once, the kind of one of your big dreams and goals for yourself is you can actually, at least to an extent, be able to pay for yourself and carry yourself forward that way.
Exactly.
Rather than having somebody else kind of help fund that or whatever.
Exactly.
So now you can potentially even take somebody that's been maybe paying for you, you could take them out to dinner, like to lunch or to a movie or something like that, or on a day trip to a park or something. And it would be really cool. Which I absolutely have been dying to be able to do. Not quite there, not quite to killing yet, but someday soon. No. So but anyway, go ahead with your thought process behind it, yeah.
But yeah, essentially the way that I've been setting up my home, the way that I present myself, and so on and so forth, basically, I want to show that evolution of who I once was when I was, in my 20s, essentially.
Yeah.
I always dressed in a trench coat and actually a metal t-shirt and gothic trip pants.
Because, like, instead of evolving from that necessarily, what you're doing is you're incorporating your roots, basically.
Yes, my roots.
With your present self.
Yes, my present self.
That male red-winged blackbird has just been hanging out there, that same spot, the whole time we've been here. He's just chilling, singing. It's nice. But like, in like the grand scheme of like thinking about it in that way, because like, say in a general sense, where like a lot of other people, most people see it that way and kind of think that way. So, like, what is kind of your thoughts behind that? Like, what is besides for yourself, like, is there any other points, reasons, or purposes for it?
Well, yeah.
Because I would assume it would have to be an outward as well, kind of presentation of yourself to, like, get a certain level of, as you would say, honor and respect, but then, like, in general respect or, like, I don't know, attention or appreciation of some kind, a specific kind or something.
Well, the fact is that it's a means by which what was it called? There is more to it than that, actually.
Right.
One of the things that I wanted to do, and that I actually still want to do, actually, is called write a book called Simp to American Asshole.
So one of the things you want to do is called write a book. You got ahead of you, put the cart before the horse.
Yes,
there for
I
a moment,
did,
didn't you?
exactly. Well,
now you know how it feels.
How dare you! But yeah, I want to write a book called From Simp to American Asshole.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously because American Badass was taken.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But also, I like, basically being, what was it called? Being using my originality.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
But I meant, like, in a sense of, like, not to yourself so much as, like, what are the other points in terms of outwardness, I guess, is what I was asking about. Because you've already talked about yourself.
Yeah.
But what about for the outward aspects? Like, how, like, well, not just for you, but also, if you can, in general. Well, for the average populace, if you can speculate what the heck you think it is.
That's why I stated that, the book in general, because basically I want to show the metamorphosis in that regard. The metamorphosis by illustrating this is the step-by-step process by which I did things and stuff. And that basically this is how others do it, essentially.
Right. Yeah.
So.
What do you think about, like, the way that the average person, when they're actually thinking about that kind of stuff and, like, how do I look to other people, like, what do you think it is that gets them to that point and gets them to think, like, I need to look in a certain way, presentable in a specific manner that I see in my head fit for, people to see me like?
Well, basically, I would say that be true to who you are.
Right.
Yeah, be true to who you are as a person, basically. What are your likes? What are your dislikes? And so on and so forth. You see, the metal shirt is primarily because I like metal bands and stuff.
So are you saying like that's your advice? Or are you
That's
saying
my advice, yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say, are you saying that that's what you think most people are doing that? And,
No,
like,
that's
their
literally
mindset?
my advice, basically,
Okay. Yeah.
to show to the populace your
Ouch.
personality and who you are
Yeah.
as a person.
Mm-hmm.
Not basically don't what was it called? Don't do things according to the method that people want you to be.
Right. Yeah. In other words, don't try to don't do it to match whatever in your head you think that people want
Exactly.
to see, whether it's out of you or out of other people.
Exactly.
But
Like-
also don't do it the other way around, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like for me, I've got 4 hats at home. This is my Scottish bill,
Yep.
and I also have what was it called?
Your like fedora-like hat. It's
My
not quite
fedora,
a fedora,
and also
but-
my top hat as well.
Right. You have a top hat now. That's right.
Exactly.
Yep. Yep.
I also have a what is it called? A Colombian hat.
That was
Fish.
No, that wasn't a fish. That had to have been one of the muskrats.
Muskrats.
Yeah. They're cute as heck, actually. But yeah.
Yeah, this is primarily why I wear
Right.
this
I was
stuff
gonna
because
ask what a Colombian hat is.
Oh, Colombian hat. It's a lot like a fedora. It's white,
Okay.
and it's made of different materials, sort of like burlap. Or
Okay.
whatever.
But it's basically a fedora, just different material.
Exactly.
And it's white. So yeah, kind of like a burlap color. Or
Yeah.
Canvas maybe.
Canvas, maybe.
Yeah, it's probably canvas. That's interesting because like as soon as you said that, I'm like, wait a minute. That's like Hollywood met somebody's mind when they were in Colombia.
Exactly.
And they're like, okay, well,
Exactly.
what would like the mafia look like? But if it was dressing like that, but in the nautical sense,
Exactly.
which is kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
Then it's probably not Colombian. It's probably some expats like weird construed view, you know. There's a hecky about. Looks like your standard one though. Doesn't look like one of the military ones that have been active lately this year.
Cool.
Yeah. So you never really did answer the questions I was asking. I asked it twice, and you're just like giving your advice instead now.
Well, dude, I mean, basically, that's in a roundabout way. I'm not answering them directly, but
Yeah.
in a way, I am. The fact is, I like this band. And
No, I get that. Yeah.
That's
You're still only coming at it from where you are.
yeah.
Which I can sort of understand, but it also feels like, you know, a politician's kind of answer. You're like beating around the bush, like, well, I won't directly answer it. I'll kind of just throw something vaguely accurate.
I know, man.
Vaguely close to what you asked. It's like, good job. You're about to be president now for that.
Shut up. Just shut
Never answer the question. Always be as a beat around the bush as possible with every question that you're asked, and never be honest. Just always do something vaguely related.
Okay, yeah, call me Tricky Dick for that matter.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, like, so from my own point of view, you know, I guess in a way I kind of always seen as kind of pointless, purposeless, and vain.
Yeah.
Especially because of the outward aspect of, like, why do you need to dress a certain way or, like, dress up or do something specific in order to, you know,
Well,
like, look, quote-unquote, presentable to other
Well,
people. It's always
basically-
felt very shallow and pointless and vain. Just
Well-
like, what do you call it? A performance, almost. In a way.
It kind of is. It
You know?
kind of is, but it basically, I'm just presenting myself. That's all I'm doing.
Right.
And
Because, like, I don't know. I guess it's kind of, like, for me, I don't even think about that ever. I just wear what I want to wear. That's why I still don't own any pants. I just own shorts.
I don't blame you.
And I always try to wear my flip-flops because I'd rather be barefoot everywhere. And, you know, like, I always wear t-shirts because it's just what's comfortable, you know?
Well, I
That's
hear
the
you.
only thing that's ever mattered to me is, like, what is the most comfortable to me? And also, on top of that, with clothing, does it do its job? If yes to both, then that's all that matters to me.
Well, then,
You know?
dude,
Like,
there you go, man.
I mean, like, this shirt, I do put thought into it sometimes of, like, today I'm like, when I realized it, I'm like, oh, I should remember to try to change this shirt out again. It should be like the third time I've changed it today, and the fourth time in 24 hours. parts because just it was kind of a disaster a little bit at the first half of it for me. But it's like some beetle that's been flying around the whole time. I can tell. Oh, he's one of those like yellow colored knockoff ladybugs. They're Chinese something beetles. I can't remember what they're called. Anyway, but like, cause this shirt, it's so worn out, right? Like you can't even really read the mandate freedom on it anymore. The most very present thing is the truck. Oh, I know, but like this is like, look at this. Can you really make that out? That says mandate freedom. You can barely see the maple leaf, and then the semi cab on the left and the R is like the R in the line of the first E's is obvious because this is obviously a trucker's convoy supporting T-shirt, right? And like this thing immediately wore off its mandate freedom thing, and then also there's a whole one of these. I'm like, and 90% of what I own isn't even like this, where I bought it myself or got it new. It's just straight up from Goodwill, so it's already hand-me-down stuff anyway. Like 2 of my shirts I wear are actually from my sister because I didn't fit her, and I'm like, fuck it, I don't care, and they're comfy. So,
well, dude, I don't blame you, okay, man. Right? It's up to you how you want to present. I mean,
right?
Basically, it's quite frankly, man. I'm not doing this just to please people.
Oh, obviously, no, I know that, and I know for you especially, yeah. But I was like, the reason why I wanted to ask and talk about that is just because it's a thought process. Kind of an extra thought exercise of like, why do, especially coming from your own stance now, why do other people, do you think, do it? Because to me, it does seem more vanity. It does seem more outward than inward.
Quite
like,
frankly,
they
man,
rather do it just
I don't really know, man.
Follow a trend or something, you know? Well, like, what the majority of the internet culture says, oh, this is trendy, this looks good.
Yeah, quite frankly.
And it's like, that's dumb. But,
yeah,
okay.
Quite frankly, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what people want. I don't know why people say this is trendy, this is not, and I think it's freaking stupid if you ask me. Mm-hmm. I'm not doing this just to be fashionable. I'm just doing this to present myself.
Right. Or in a way, technically, it is to be fashionable because to see yourself. What you personally think is, looks good and what you like and everything. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm kind of the opposite of that, to where I like don't even have that thought process in my head. And it's hard for me to try to develop a thought process of like, I should think about what kind of shirt I'm gonna wear. Does this match, does my shirt match my pants? Which actually, now that I think about it, this is entirely coincidental, by the way. Because like I said, zero thought goes into this. Actually, it's just what I grabbed, and this is what I grabbed, and it matches. But like my mom, she always likes the idea of things matching. So whenever I have matching colors I'm wearing, she's like, that looks really good. And I'm like, I look down, I'm like, yeah, of course, because it's color matching, And I'm like, I don't get that, really. Like, to me, actually, I'm like the opposite of my mom in that sense. I like contrasts, including sometimes if they're pretty stark. I still really like them because, like, they can still somehow play off each other, and it just feels right, It feels kind of more vibrant and, I guess, a little off-kilter, off standard, and I'm like, I like that. It feels kind of cool,
It does.
It's kind of like, I guess, in a way, it's kind of like polarities and dualities, in a way. Yeah. Like, you're unintentionally representing those things. But, like, from my point of view, it's always seemed so, like I said, shallow and vain and pointless. Yeah. Just super performative. Ducks just randomly startled. So, like, I think about that, and I think most people do it in that way, where it's almost entirely, not entirely outward is what they're thinking of and the only thing they care about. And that's why they look at, like, what is trendy, what is not trendy, and
hell, dude.
What they've been told is supposed it looks good versus doesn't, or whatever, and I don't know, it's just really stupid. But then also you have the other aspect, right, where it's like expected from an employer or a potential employer if you're going to go in for an interview or, a religious service or something. And that's especially where I think ever since I was a little kid, I really quickly developed this like almost disdain for that mentality and that belief system of like you have to wear something specific or else you're disrespecting something. And I think it's also where I immediately realized I fucking despise symbolism, because symbolism is also entirely empty and pointless and performative, and it's just useless, Yeah. And I'm just like, this is so dumb. You know?
Well, dude, I mean,
I
I'm
don't
going to
know.
tell you something here, which I'm going to tell you something right here, which will irk you a little bit in
Yep.
relation to what was it called, clothing and religious services. So, as far as the Baptists go, you go to a church, it's suit and tie.
Right, it's Jehovah's Witnesses and Mormons are the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Or if you're a woman, a dress, of course.
if you're another
Bug.
if you are a different kind of what was it called, a different subgenre, if you will, that basically clothes don't necessarily matter.
Right.
And ultimately, they give the rationale that you're giving, essentially.
Yeah.
That basically it's vain, it's vanity, then therefore it equals
Right.
sin.
It's very stupid. Yeah.
So.
Well, I wouldn't say equals sin. That's especially fucking extreme and absurd. It's a hell of a leap to make. They're right. No, that's fucking lunacy.
Well, basically, that's my worldview right there, too, man. It's freaking lunacy.
You were that close.
Yeah, you were that close.
And you
that
just had to
close.
go and do something stupid. Yeah. Had to go too far every time, I swear. People are dumb in that way.
Well, no kidding. People are dumb in that way.
But yeah, like, that always bugged me a lot. And actually, especially as I got a little bit older, when I was still stuck as a Jada because I was born into it, it's like, you always see the people in, like, Hawaii.
Yeah.
They're, like, wearing their typical Hawaiian shirts, button up fronts and, like, shorts. And I'm like, why is it, like, you talk, and the doctrine even says it's, like, the end of the world just about. It's, like, brings about Armageddon if you don't wear exactly what they dictate, which is always formal clothing. And
Exactly.
I'm like, what? But if you're in Hawaii, well, that's not the same. They have different rules, you see, because cultural sensitivity or something, I guess they might have been waiting to claim. But it's just like...
Cultural sensitivity.
That's dumb as hell, though, because then it proves that you're hypocritical and that your your foundational rule, one of the many of their tenets, is complete fiction. It's just made up bullshit.
Exactly.
It's like, but it's respectful. It's disrespectful not to dress up in formal clothing for God. Oh, fuck you. Bullshit. The only people who care about that is humans. Because it's a human thing. Like, you're like, oh, I gotta worry about all these stupid things that I randomly create to make problems for myself. And then the problems with other people, and like...
Exactly.
But why, though? You know what I mean? It's just fucking stupid. It's so pointless. It just proves it, though. And, like, that really started to agitate me when I got old enough. Because I'm like, I kept seeing that. I'm like, this is so bullshit, though. Like, this is so pointlessly bullshit. This is just an arbitrary rule that you invented out of nowhere.
Exactly.
You pulled it out of your ass and said, God wants this. No, I don't think you give a fuck. Yeah, I'm an atheist, so obviously, you could say, well, you're coming from a cynical mindset, which is sinful, by the way, if you're a more traditional Christian, because it's one of the 7 deadly sins is cynicism. What the fuck ever. The point is, right, is that, like,
hey, dude, I'm a cynic here, and I'm considered by many accounts to be the, what was it called? The devout Jew over here.
I know,
so.
yeah. Well, I mean, that kind of goes into the next thing, is like, and it relates to it, because one of the things I was going to say, and I've said this to you before.
Yeah.
But, like, because I've said this through the years, throughout my life, so many times to people, is in any even vaguely religious context, is like, if a God exists, he's not going to give a fuck if you show up butt naked with a dildo in your asshole to a church service. As long as you're actually genuinely believe in him, and you genuinely are trying to do your best and do everything, be a good person, basically, right? And improve yourself. They're not going to, whatever your God is not going to give a fuck. Because he's not a human. He doesn't care about human things. Like, if you're wearing a certain textile or something, or a certain cut of a certain angle, like, oh, well, that's the wrong color or something. It's like, no, it's not. He doesn't care if you show up naked to a church service. As long as you're dedicated, he doesn't care. So I guarantee it.
You've literally, I'm going to tell you this now, man.
Ridiculously
I'm going to tell you this now, man, and this is going to irk you.
Yeah.
You've literally quoted, or not quoted, actually referenced the actual Jewish teaching of the Shema.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've literally
Which is funny
it.
as hell, because like that backs up your whole thing of like, oh, everything about it is just common sense. It's just basic common sense. I'm like, well, because to me that would define as common sense.
Exactly.
You're just using basic brain cells
But
to make a
sometimes I feel
synaptic
like,
connection to realize,
like I'm a little
duh.
more
Yeah, it's
No,
just
duh.
basic common sense for crying
Who
out loud.
cares, man? You know? And like, but then like, if you want to go even further into the religious context, right? Just got a notification. Like, in a way, if you think about it, it relates and goes further down the religious path if you want to, which is like, the whole thing of like whether you believe in him or not,
Yeah.
or whether you believe in the whatever insert sect of, whether it's Islam or Judaism or Christianity or Hinduism or whatever else, Jainism, I don't know, Taoism, you know, like whatever the heck you believe in, and no matter what subsect it might be, or if you're like me and you don't believe a God exists at all, never has existed, never will exist, it's, at the end of the day, I don't think that God, whatever you believe in, because I think that kind of fundamentally, and I kind of touched on that and referenced it a little bit in episode 2 of this podcast, but like fundamentally kind of all religions have the same rough foundational setting for their beliefs and their structures and their entire religion in the first place, which is a belief in some sort of a deity, an all-powerful, omnipotent entity, you know. And so like, and they, whether you call it a god or Vishnu, whatever the fuck else, right? Like, it doesn't matter, because it's still technically the same basic foundational piece.
Exactly.
Even all paganism has the same basic tenet, you know, same basic foundational root, taproot, if you will. And so at the end of the day, like, whether you believe the Christian or whatever other like religious foundational standpoint or framework of like, you know, for the most basic piece that you take from it, which is like you're supposedly made in God's image, and you are His children, you know, and you're flesh and blood or whatever, right? And like, you think about that, right? And that, you know, it's not your fault that you quote unquote sin, or that you're imperfect, or whatever the fuck your definition and branding of that is. At the end of the day, I don't think He's gonna give a fuck what sect you're in or if you believe in Him or not, as long as that, if that aspect's true, that you're made in His image, that you're literally His children in a way, He's gonna understand. He's not gonna give a fuck about how imperfect you are, because He understands that genuinely, because He literally supposedly made you. So why would He punish you for what He made you to be and to have? You know what I mean? Like, He's not going to care if you make sins, or you make mistakes, or you do something stupid, or you're, you know, because He understands that innately that's inevitable, that you're going to fuck up a lot. You're going to do stupid things. You're going to believe stupid things, probably. It's part of your life, half your lifespan, you know, whatever else. You're going to probably wrong somebody, and sometimes yourself every so often, whether you intended to or not. Like, it's in human nature to do that.
Exactly.
And so if you're really a part of Him, in the sense you're made from Him, so to speak, right? Why would He care about any of that? Because He'd understand that that's how He made you. He made you intentionally to be imperfect. Whether or not you believe in the whole Adam and Eve aspect that made you imperfect, or if you believe that He actually made you imperfect by default. You know, like, I don't think He'd give a fuck about any of this stupid stuff. It's all superficial at that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, basically.
As long as, like I said, right, the basis is, as long as you're trying to be as good of a person, a well-intentioned of a person as you can be, and you're always trying to improve, you know, He's not going to care.
So, I'll tell you this one. Actually, here's something that will irk you, all right? In the...
You're always listing things to irk me.
Well,
you obviously get some sort of sick kicks out of it.
I do.
I swear everyone does. That's why I started doing commentary videos in the first place. It's literally because there's a bunch of people that started following me on Twitter on my original Twitter account, where I had like 2,400 people following me at one point, including some actually athletes and celebrities. And I'm like, okay. And they're like, why do you follow me? And I'm like, no, we actually really like, you know, what you're doing or whatever. And I'm like, okay. Even though I like spend half my days on here ranting about stupid shit, you know, and it's actual rants. And the other times raving, or other times tirading, or spieling, whatever else, right? Like big exposés, basically, impromptu. But people adored my rants so much that they're like, you need to make videos. of your rants. Like, this is just, it's so entertaining. Whatever. And I'm like, okay, whatever, and that's actually what got me there, and so it's actually funny that, like, even you kind of can relate to that notion, that basis of, like, no, you when you rant, it's hilarious. When you're agitated, it's for some reason funny, apparently, and I'm like, okay, well, cool.
All right, so basically in the ancient Near East, about I want to say several thousand years ago, like during ancient Egypt, essentially, the people, they didn't believe in the concept of people being in the image of the gods. They only believed one select group was in the image of the gods, and that was the kings.
Which, go figure, fits directly back into human beings being human beings.
Exactly.
Because, of course, those kings would make sure that everyone else would only see what would support that, supposition.
The Merovingian kings is a great representation of that.
Because it's human arrogance, and of course they're going to want to consolidate power and control as much as possible, as everybody they can, so naturally, it bends that direction, so.
Well, yeah, exactly.
So
anyway, what I was saying earlier was that it was a what was it called? The kings were the ones who were made in the image of the gods in the ancient Egypt, and basically they were quote unquote the ones who quote unquote were going to be able to resurrect and yada yada.
Of course, yeah.
Other than that, dang it, I forgot what I was going to say.
Yeah, it was a while away.
Now I remember. Mm-hmm. So, as far as the Torah goes, the fact is that when it comes down to what the Torah says about sin in general, basically, sin in general are basically quote-unquote moral atrocities.
Yeah.
Like,
Jesus, that's wild. That's intense.
Yeah. Well,
atrocities.
Yeah.
Good God. I haven't heard that description before.
Yeah. Like, basically, what was it? I was actually contemplating something for the past couple of days. Like, for instance, one thing that I was contemplating was, okay, why demand sacrifices in that regard? And I basically came to a realization about something that I didn't think of it in the first place. It was the sacrifice. They were basically commanded because basically people back then in that time period lived in agrarian societies.
Right, yeah.
So basically, it wasn't the fact that the person was sacrificing an animal. It was more or less a means of cost.
Right.
If a person had a prized bull or whatever and stuff in an agrarian society, it actually, and basically you did a bozo no-no, then basically that was going to cost you.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically they were in an agrarian society, and basically the people, they, what were they doing? They, even quote-unquote sacrifices in general, is sort of a misnomer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was actually supposed to be considered, sacrifices were only a means by which They covered over the mistake made in a specific situation.
Yeah.
That's it. But other than that, a person's actions atoned
Yeah.
for that. Basically, what I'm saying is that when it comes down to the overall message behind it is that atonement has literally nothing to do with animals in general. It's more or less taking care of the situation that you've supposedly fucked up on.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You're just taking in the gorgeous reflections and everything and the stillness of the water.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's so nice. Do this a little bit. Get like a idea for how beautiful it is. Actually,
Beautiful it is.
tip it a little bit because actually, it's already at an up slant anyway. But yeah.
So,
Oh, it's so pretty. It goes down quite a ways. Hopefully I get this right back where it was again. Ow.
anyways, the point that I was getting at, that whole long diatribe and all that shit was that basically, I legitimately believe that people's belief structures and all of that crap gets in the way of other people's methods of just being kind to one another.
I absolutely cannot agree with that more, yeah. I mean, you look throughout history, especially with religious belief systems, and like, they're probably the leading source of wars and massacres and genocides and ethnic cleansing and other conflicts, and it's just ridiculous. It actually is like the original, biblical era, if you will, and a little before that, and ancient biblical time period version of identity politics.
Exactly, it is.
It's basically their form of DEI in a way.
Yeah, it is.
DEI before DEI, or identity politics before identity politics, where like your identity mattered more than anything else apparently, and if you didn't have the right identity, you were screwed. You literally probably would get massacred back then.
Shit.
And it's just like, oh great. And like, you actually look at it now versus the current identity politics scape, and it's like these are literally the same thing. It just so happens that this was with religion. Now religion has all this extra shit added on top of it. Now it's your gender or your gender identity rather than actually what you are, and then like sexuality and all sorts of other stupid shit. And it's like, are you kidding me?
Exactly.
It's so stupid. Like, you can't be somebody who is into everything that goths are into, but not dress like a goth now, because like if you don't, then you can't call yourself a goth, which is totally bullshit, obviously, because you are.
Yeah, it's totally bullshit.
Just as an example, it's ridiculous. So yeah, I mean, like, you look at it then and then now, and like obviously currently there's still a lot of religious / cultural blow-ups happening. I mean, recently in the news was the president of Serbia is trying to instigate a war again in the Balkans, because though he's claiming that it's actually would be defensive for Serbia, because apparently, according to him, Croatia, Albania, I think it was Macedonia and Kosovo were all plotting to go to war against them.
Wow.
And invade them or whatever. And it's like, where the fuck is this getting pulled from? Like, this is straight out of your fucking left testicle? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, what the hell is going on
literally
here?
bullshit, And yet, at the same time, from people in Serbia, they're like, look at what our government's actually, like, plastering all over the buildings and all these other places. And it's literally this, like, propaganda printout, like, Cold War era style, actually, ironically. Printouts and posters of, it was called Make Greater Serbia Great Again. And it has Donald Trump and Elon Musk on it. And then it has the map of Yugoslavia.
Wow.
the former Yugoslav borders back into place again. And it's like, there's 3 key pieces to that I found to be hilariously kind of self-inflicted gunshot wound to the dick type of thing, or to the foot, Barney Fife yourself, when you make a claim like that, is because this is Serbia, right?
Yeah.
So Serbia, especially their government, has had this is one of the countless reasons why I cannot stand, and I've always considered Serbia and Serbians to be some of the most arrogant, ignorant assholes on this earth, along with Americans and French people and, you know, Turks and Greeks and everything else, you know, all the rest of the list. And it's like, they're just bullies. They're like the Balkans version of the U.S. They just always have to throw their weight around and be a bully, and then they always play victim. They're always like, we are a victim of, you know, all this. It's like, you literally fucking instigated every last one of the things that you experienced. Especially in the last 120, 140 years. All of Serbia's wounds are self-inflicted. Because they started all of it. Like the big Balkan War, you know, to make Yugoslavia become a thing, because none of the other nations wanted that. They wanted their independence. Serbia didn't. They wanted this big empire. And so as a result, guess what happened? You had Milosevic and all these other assholes, who they insist are Croatians, by the way, because they're always their biggest target and their punching bag. They're like, oh, we're the victims of Croatians. Everything was Croatia's. Everything bad is Croatia's doing. It's like, literally, it's Serbian. The idea of Yugoslavia is Serbian. The leadership of it was Serbian. Like, everything about it's Serbian. You know, you're the only one who has that gruesome of nationalism, to where you're willing to do any cost to have it, you know, expanded. You know, and so, like, the Bosnian genocide, that was Serbian conducted. Like, it was genocide of Croatians, actually, was a thing that they were about to do while they were genociding the Bosnians of Bosnia. And then all of a sudden, they were going to be like, let's use this as cover so we can go into Croatia and genocide these assholes. And the Croatians realized it, like, I think it was like 2 or 3 days before they would have arrived to start a massacre. And so they immediately did the only thing they really can in like 2 or 3 days time, and that's basically try to do jingoism and be like, okay, you want to do it, we'll get to you before you can get to us, and we'll massacre your troops instead. And they did that. And so now they use that as a weapon of their victimhood, and it's like, you literally only experienced that because you were about to fucking do that yourself to them, and they didn't have any time to respond other than really in that way. It's literally like, again, a proverbial dog being backed into a corner, you know, and trapped there. It's going to fight back in a vicious manner because you're overwhelmed, literally, you know. It's a literal instant, last-second primal response, basically. And then, obviously, you know, all the other stupid shit was going on. And again, this wasn't even that long ago that Yugoslavia dissolved. I was still alive.
Wow.
When it fully dissolved, which was 1999, I think.
Wow.
And then the last vestige of it only dissolved in 2008, when Kosovo declared independence from them, and so did Montenegro. Montenegro exited their partnership with Serbia to become their own sovereign nation. That was 2008. So, like, again, what is that? It's 2026. So that's 18 years ago.
Exactly.
That's it. Like, that's the last vestige of Yugoslavia. Anyway, the point for mentioning all that is that they're the instigators every fucking time. And so why it's funny what Vucic is saying, the president of Serbia right now, claiming that they're about to be invaded because, you know, all these neighbors are doing it. 3 things. 1, he said Kosovo. And if you remember, the number 1 priority, foreign policy priority of Serbia and all their governments, no matter what their leadership is to constantly deny that Kosovo is anything but another part of Serbia. But by saying that Kosovo is in a coalition with Macedonia and Croatia and somebody else to go to war against them and invade them, that's indirectly admitting, actually really it's kind of direct admission, that they are their own sovereign country. Wow. He's basically acknowledging that, and that they have their own military and stuff, and it's like, so they're not their own country, they're Serbia, until apparently they're about to invade you, which would literally require them to be their own country with their own borders. Meaning you just acknowledge that they are that. What? So, like, foot and mouth syndrome with that, which makes it a hilarious misstep on his part in that attempt at a power play. to instigate a war. And then on top of that, there's the second piece of 3, which was that he excluded, there's no mention of Bosnia and Herzegovina. Yet, that's like the second priority foreign policy wise, is that, you know, Bosnians are evil people that, you know, are persecuting the Serb minority or majority, whatever, in Herzegovina portion of the nation, which is what would be called the Republic of Srpsk, which is what would become its own sovereign nation if they got their way. The Serbian government did, and the Serbs in Bosnia and Herzegovina did.
Grand.
And so that's like, leaving them out makes zero sense, especially in that regard, because then it's like, well, it also would include Bosnia and Herzegovina. The entirety of it is what they would have to annex in order to make Yugoslavia again. And it's in the map, so yes, that's what they're intending to do. But then at the same time, he didn't mention them in a coalition to supposedly go on an offensive war against Serbia.
Wow. Which
is another weird thing, especially in juxtaposition with the first one, which is the Kosovo thing. No, that's backwards as hell, both of those. So backwards and upside down. And then on top of that, you have, what was the third thing again? Well, yeah, I guess the third thing was that propaganda posters. Their government's posting all over the place in Serbia.
Well, no kidding.
Which is that they want to, you know, create greater Serbia, so to speak. Which the stupid thing about that is that if you pay attention, what is that mimicking? To call it Greater Serbia instead of Yugoslavia. It's mimicking Netanyahu in Israel right now. Greater Israel. So literally, they're just trying to do it. They're trying to market and rebrand it to that, so they can market it to the Netanyahus and everyone else in the world and those interests. And it's just ridiculously stupid, you know. And plus, like, the even more absurd about it is, even whether they're serious or not, is the especially stupid thing is that there's endless history, especially the last 120, 140 years, where none of those people have gotten along. They're basically the same people. They all come from the same basic people as well and sources, yet they all have never gotten along with each other, you know, to the extent that that's why they need to be sovereign states, because they just don't get along, you know, at least in terms of, especially politically, they don't. So, you know what I mean? It's just wildly ironic. And I can't remember what we were just talking about before, how that related to that, which is why I went into that.
It was basically
because I thought it was
just being a good person in general.
Yeah, I don't remember how that relates
basically,
to how I brought that
up. Talked about
I know it was related, but I don't remember.
Well, basically, what I was talking about was the sin offering.
Oh, wait. That's right, yeah. Because it was talking about the religion and the cultural aspects, including right now.
Exactly.
And then I thought of Israel, Palestine, and Iran, and all in Israel, and all that stupid shit. Yemen, you know. It's been going on there forever. Sudan, actually. They're about to be fractured into a third country.
Wow.
3 different pieces, puzzle pieces, you know. Oh God. I mean, like, you tell.
I realized that Sudan was separated into 2 countries.
Yeah, that happened in 2016. Officially, South Sudan became a sovereign nation. And so their capital became, of course, the second biggest city, which is Juba, behind Khartoum. But odds are Khartoum is going to be split in half, ironically kind of like Jerusalem was originally, in their modern state, which you can only imagine is going to go amazing. Because Khartoum has always been their long-standing capital, and it's the most important city and biggest city in the country. And now with this fracture, they're probably going to split into 3 or so, as 2 other new states, 2 versions of themselves, in half. And then half of Khartoum is probably going to end up in a different country. It's just, yeah. But the point is that all of that relates to the prior, because it's just rearing its head more than ever right now, you know. And ironically, I feel like the one thing that doesn't fit with is the modern version of that, which is the DEI stuff. It doesn't include all this weird identity politics outside of, you know, the money, the special interests, and then the cultural and religious aspects.
Exactly.
You know, so it's, which means that we're kind of almost reverting back to biblical and ancient standards, where it's like, okay, now this is the identity, that the only one that matters, you know. And it's like, this has always failed every single time for obvious reasons. Like, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with you, why you insist to clasp to that, but it clearly seems to be human nature, because it's been here forever. As far as back as we can look at human history, there's always been this weird supremacy aspect to identities of various kinds, whether it's religious or cultural or, you know, gender or sexuality or, I don't know, fucking what you wear or don't wear or whatever else. Or
Well, here's something
it's just sad, actually.
Well, here's something else. Basically, and this is the one thing that what was it called? People like myself, Judaism has actually figured out. What was it called? It was a work of service, basically. All right, basically these ideologies in that regard. I actually look at these ideologies as, well, basically as proverbial gods in that regard.
It's a weird way to look at it.
Well, here's
if I made Dalek water on there. Let me try again. If I made Dalek explain.
Well, let me explain here. All right. The fact is that what was it called? All right. In ancient times, basically, when a person was basically, let's say, if they were following the ancient god Baal. Basically, that god or deity, if you will, would tell them to dress in a certain way, and also tell them to do certain behaviors, stuff that was actually supposed to be their social cues and so on.
Sorry, it's definitely at least part beagle. Either that is just a really dark colored beagle, which is surprising. So, sorry, go ahead. Listen, hound dogs are important.
Yes, they are. They're important.
Cats are still superior, but I can never deny myself a good hound dog. Sorry, go ahead.
The proverbial deity would say, would basically command them to dress a certain way.
Right, you said
and
that,
certain behaviors would be consistent with their what was it called, their worldview or their social views. For instance, like if someone was, let's say, a part of that example Baal, basically they would consider it a virtue to lie.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that's true with any identity like that, though, whether it's religious or whatever else, because it's like, what do you consider to be
virtuous?
Or whatever, insert the title of whatever that group is.
Exactly.
Because, like, you can even do that to a nation state and say, like, what makes something American culture? It's like, well, it depends on who you ask, because if you ask me, I'd say we don't have culture here. We never have really had our own culture. It's just an amalgamation of a bunch of other cultures.
Exactly.
You just adopt whatever aspects of those that you actually personally, like, basically.
Exactly.
Like, but would I say that anything's truly American? No. Outside of, like, rap, hip hop, rock music, and I would claim rock is
uniquely American.
Yeah, even though Britain was considered to be the ones who really brought it, quote unquote, here. I think I'm confident, in fact I know we came up with it first. We just didn't title it. They titled it, and so they claimed it, even though we were the ones who actually had it first. And they were inspired by our, like, usually R&B and blues and soul and Motown musicians, while, which is, and bluegrass even a little bit. You bring all that together and you get rock. And then that's our rock and roll, if you will. And then that's how you got that. So they basically took everything that we had when we were starting to merge it and come up with our own thing. We just didn't give it a name yet because it didn't catch on here as fast as it did there. As soon as they took our export of it there because they were inspired by it and they did their own thing. Yeah. Britain just immediately hooked into it, whereas here they're like apprehensive,
Yes.
In fact, that could be a whole different story because I could see how that probably went underground a little bit for a while until, especially the 80s, when the whole satanic panic thing came back again. Because if you think about it, think about how anti-rock they were when it was forming here, and even its first ages, first decade, and then again, like, there's only one decade where it was great, and then all of a sudden they're like, this is satanic. This is satanic. Sure. Right, because it's not fucking your Frank Sinatra or some stupid shit like that, some lounge music from pre-1940. It's like, well, then it must be satanic because it has those kids acting crazy. Crazy, they mean it's free. And, like, expressing themselves and feeling emboldened to be themselves and just go out there and have fun and be wild and free, and like, that's bad.
That's bad.
I completely sidetracked myself. But yeah, so that, and then also, like, I mean, what else is there? Like, if you think about a food, you might want to. I mean, automatically
The American burger, definitely.
everybody wants to immediately say a hamburger or a cheeseburger, but I guarantee that was already done elsewhere. It just wasn't credited. You know? I mean, how simple and obviously straightforward is that? So you're gonna say it's products from the same animal, you know, when it's a cheeseburger, even more so. But like, think about how basic it is. I bet that I guarantee
basic.
that was originally a poverty meal. Like the impoverished farmers here in the North America probably were like, what can we do with this leftover byproduct, you know, or like bad meat or whatever, quote unquote, bad cuts of our beef, our cow, you know? And then they're like, oh, I know. Let's grind it up, because then it's storable. It's easy to mold into something. And then they decided to cook it, and they're like, put it between bread, actually. And then all of a sudden they're like, this is great. And then
I
they had a
wouldn't be
hamburger.
surprised if it came in a French dip, actually.
But yeah, like, you know, a lot of people would also say apple pie. American is apple. It wasn't even no apple pie was even from here originally. It was from Netherlands originally, and even actually Britain itself. So like they took in Germany, they took all of that, and they're like, well, we put the slightest difference in looks on it, so therefore it is ours. And it's like, no, it's not. I love it when people bring stuff up like that, though, because I'm like, well, is it really, though? And like, every time you're like, if we break it down, which is super quick and easy to do, it isn't. And therefore, can you actually think of anything that's truly American? No, you can't. You know? Like, we didn't even get the claim to the fucking maple syrup, despite having Vermont as its own independent nation for 12 years before it joined Canada, and then all of a sudden got given back to the U.S. And it's like, but like, we had the chance, and they're like, you know what, we won't do that, but we will seek nationhood and sovereignty for 12 years, and then give ourselves to Canada, so they can give it back to the U.S. And it's like, what?
What?
You dumbass. So we could have had maple syrup before Canada, but Canada ended up taking it instead.
Yes.
So, you know, even Canada has, I would argue, slightly more than we do. Maybe the American donut. Like,
absolutely.
You know, because that seems like that definitely was a very, like, northeastern seaboard
Oh,
thing.
that was, yeah.
So
the Coney dog, definitely.
Oh yeah, I guess hot dogs. The hot dogs are definitely our version of a brat or a sausage, a wurst. But I don't know. I mean, they're different enough because they're just basically straight meat byproducts, chemicals, and fucking nitrates. Yeah. But they're literally ground up meat byproducts, as in like cartilage and ligaments and tendons and, you know, tongue and like eyeballs and other weird shit, along with a little tiny bit of scraps of meat with fat on it. And that's basically what hot dogs are. They're actually, if you think about it, incredibly carcinogenic, and they're gross. But yeah, I guess we could claim it. Like fucking chili cheese dogs.
Oh yeah.
I would say chili cheese dogs and corn dogs.
Well, that's why I said the Coney dog. The Coney dog was actually a chili cheese dog.
Was it? Why is it so different now? Now it doesn't have chili at all in it. It's just
it does.
As far as I know, Coney Island dogs have never had that.
Oh,
They've always had relish and like onions,
absolutely
and
they do.
Pickles and all this other weird gross stuff.
Absolutely they do, man.
Yeah, horseradish, I think, and it's just like.
Okay, so basically,
gross.
As far as the Coney dog goes, the Coney dog was actually what was it called? They basically set it up to where there was differing versions of the Coney dog and all of that stuff.
Right.
Where it changed and all of that stuff through different areas, but there was one place
that... Sorry, I had to participate. What?
There was one place that did the Coney dog all the way the same.
You notice how they shut up when I did that too, by the way?
Exactly.
They're like, okay, fair enough. He has a point. That's actually funny timing. You're like, okay, yeah. Well, yeah, that's fair. Yeah, like I said, I only know in Coney Island or Coney dogs to have like horseradish and pickle relish and pickles and onions and.
Oh, that's a Chicago dog.
I've only ever known that to be the Coney Island dog.
No, that's the Chicago dog.
Oh god, that's gross. It's funny because I actually like New York style pizza if it's not Brooklyn style. Brooklyn style's fucking gross. It's like thin crust. It has this really weird sauce on it, and there's like not enough toppings. If you like merge basically the idyllic pizza, because pizza that the world now knows pizza to be is strictly American.
Oh,
it's nothing close to what pizza was in the old country and Italia. So, and it still isn't. So whatever the world now knows as pizza is a very U.S. thing, and you can pretty much tell. It's like we're the only ones who are gonna just load shit on it and make it like super refined and have all these extra chemicals to make it cook faster and to make it more fluffy and to make a deeper dish and to make
exactly
so U.S. and also cheaper to make.
Yes,
especially if you're a company. So yeah, it's very standard U.S. protocol, but like, if you want the best of both worlds, you take Chicago style and New York style, not Brooklyn, actual New York style pizzas. You put those two, especially the bread to the crust, together with the sauces and load the top, and then that's perfect. Especially considering they both have really large slices.
Yeah.
And they're really large pizzas, and it's like, those are fucking great. Because they also have like the perfect proportion of sauce to toppings, in my opinion, and bread. Even though my mom and my brother Nathan were always very heavy on the fucking sauce. They're more like, they have a lot more sauce than I like. They're like, no, you gotta taste the sauce. And I'm like, yeah, but if there's any excess sauce that ever comes out of a single bite, even if it's a tiny bit, that's too much. Dude, you need just enough to taste, so that is it. Dude. And also to make sure that the textures mesh well between the bread and the topping.
That's exactly what I say, man.
Yeah.
You need just enough to taste, but anything else, you don't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then Detroit had to go and do something really weird, which is fucking put all the sauce and stuff on top of the toppings instead.
Deep
and then, so what did you do that for?
Deep dish
well, actually,
pizza.
No. Deep dish is actually originally from Chicago.
Oh.
That's why I said they had to go do something stupid and weird. Detroit's like, well, we can't be left out.
No, we can't be left out.
Absolutely not. We will not be showing up. And they're like, let's do something. Let's throw this on its head. And then they literally did. So, yeah. It is weird. Anyway, that's a definite divergence from the, I mean, it's not completely divergent because it's still on the culture topic, but it still diverts from kind of the point we were making, I guess. And not that it matters, obviously, because that's in the nature of how we talk in our podcasts and the conversations we have, but they agree. The geese agree.
Exactly.
Over there. Of course, they're Canadian geese. Although I really am enjoying the near sunset we're having right now. But yeah, I guess we could do that. Look at the doiks. Actually, I don't see anything on my screen right now. Oh no, I do. Okay, they were fine. I'm just blind. Look at the doiks. I mean, like, how can you not take advantage of a day like this to,
exactly,
do your first episode outside? The geese went for a very short swim. What if there was like a post-snack swim they went on? Huh.